going because, as we know, or anybody who listened to me for the last 20 minutes, I spent the last 2.5 days watching the weather. So at this point, it's like one of my kids feeling like, oh, God, you just have to show up now. But I know everybody probably wants to get out and going in case the weather does show up. We are incredibly fortunate. Matt Walsh is going to MC this whole thing for us. Because he knows how to pronounce the last names. And he's lovely. On behalf of everybody, thank you very much for coming today. Thank you for dealing with the weather, and thanks for all the support everybody has given the Caleb Group to bring more affordable housing to Concord.
Okay, here we go. So good morning, everybody. My name's Matt Walsh. I am the Deputy City Manager for Development for the City of Concord, and I want to welcome you to Penacook on this beautiful spring morning where we're going to get a foot of snow. On behalf of myself and the Caleb Group and all of our development partners who are here today, we're very excited to have you here to mark the conclusion of the Penacook Landing project. It's a wonderful day for Penacook Village and our community. This is a beautiful 54-unit apartment project built at a former brownfields site that could not have happened without everybody that's in this room. 49 of the units that are here of the 54 are for folks who are making 60% or less of the area median income. The Penacook Landing project is a major milestone for the city in its efforts to redevelop the former tannery site, which ceased operations in 1987. The city, through its steadfast leadership of the City Council and support from our many partners, most of you are here today, have been actively working to redevelop this site since 2002. During the initial redevelopment phase, which was completed in 2011, yielded the 15,000 square foot office building, which is across the street, which is occupied by Concord Hospital and Warren Street Architects. By way of the Penacook Landing project, this project was first conceived in 2016. After a fateful site walk with Rob Bernardin, who's not here today, who was the real estate director of Caleb at the time, and ensuing negotiations, which were completed in 20 minutes at the Dunkin' Donuts down the street on Fisherville Road, Caleb offered to purchase his property on November 29, 2016. Our purchase and sale agreement was approved by the City Council on May 18, 2017. So time flies. In 2018, with a $500,000 community development block grant from the Community Development Finance Authority, the city was able to help prepare this site for Caleb. We demolished some structures, built a sewer pump station, and took care of some other details. Following the completion of those improvements and an award of low-income housing tax credits by New Hampshire Housing Finance Authority for Phase 1, Caleb purchased this site, which is 2.5 acres from the city, on September 18th of 2019. Phase 1, which is next door, was completed in October of 2020. That's 34 units. In a little more than a year from now, following up on this wonderful milestone, we'll be completing a new 1.5 acre park next door, which we just broke ground on half hour ago. That will cap the city's decades-long effort to redevelop the former Allied Leather Tannery site, and we look forward to having all of you back in the spring of 25 to celebrate that event. Working to clean up brownfields and blight, to create tax base, to grow our housing stock, to improve infrastructure, to implement placemaking projects like new parks. This is all exactly what community development is about in the city of Concord, and we are proud to be part of all of that. Through our partnerships with Caleb and the many who are here, we've been able to take a blighted site that was worth less than nothing and turn it into something which makes positive, long-lasting, positive contributions to our community for generations to come. Before I introduce the first speaker, I just want to personally thank the Caleb team for their partnership on this project. I've enjoyed working with all of you over these many years. You're a joy to work with, and we look forward to the opportunity to work with you on future projects as well. So thank you very much, Debbie Sawyer-Nutter, Matt Sawyer, Suzanne Decaval, Rob Bernardin. We appreciate all of you and sincerely value our relationship. I also wanted to give thanks to Liz Nickerson. I don't know if she's here, but Liz was instrumental in developing the capital stack for Phase 2, and we enjoyed working with her and Suzanne on the financing that the city helped provide to make that a reality. I realize the longer I talk, the higher the risk is that we all have to drive home in a blizzard, so I'm going to stop now. And without further ado, I'm pleased to introduce Debbie Sawyer-Nutter, who is the co-founder of the Caleb Group.
Hi, everyone. Thank you for gathering here today as we celebrate the opening of the second phase of Penacook Landing. This occasion holds special significance, marking a pivotal moment in our journey from concept to reality. In reflecting on this milestone, I'm reminded of the challenges we faced during the first phase amidst the backdrop of COVID-19 pandemic. It's heartening to see so many familiar faces here today, each of whom played a vital role in bringing this vision to life. Penacook Landing represents a collective effort, a testament of the power of collaboration and community. I extend my deepest gratitude to the City of Concord for their visionary leadership and unwavering partnership in transforming this once dormant tannery site into vibrant, much-needed housing for our community. I also want to recognize the invaluable support of our public funding partners, including HUD, New Hampshire Housing, New Hampshire CDFA, the New Hampshire Department of Business and Economic Affairs, and the City of Concord, whose contributions at key moments in the projects were instrumental in propelling this community forward. Our financial partners, Evernorth, M&T Bank, and Genesis Community Loan Fund, have been invaluable allies, as have the energy partners, Revision Energy and Unitel, whose efforts have helped make Penacook Landing a model of energy efficiency. A heartfelt thank you to Brunel Johnson Architects and the dedicated team at Cheshire Builders for their exemplary work in bringing our vision to fruition. To all the contributors and supporters listed in our programs, your collective efforts have left an indelible mark on Penacook Landing. And now it is my honor to introduce Mayor Champlin, whose leadership and dedication have been instrumental in making today's celebration possible.
Thank you so much. I feel like saying what they said. So I'm not going to go through a litany of thank yous, except to say thank you to Caleb for coming to Concord, for working on this project with the city administration, and for bringing much needed affordable housing to Concord and to downtown Penacook. I have said for many years that one of the greatest assets or one of the greatest boosts that Penacook Village could have to growth and development has been a critical mass of residential foot traffic. And this project moves us towards that goal. It also adds $4.5 million to the Concord tax base, which we deeply appreciate. And it helps put a dent on the critical shortage of housing and affordable housing in particular in the city. So I want to say thank you again to Caleb. And I also want to take my time to say thank you to Matt Walsh. As we mentioned across the way when we were groundbreaking for the park, which will add to this, this has been a more than 20-year odyssey for Matt, where he has really provided leadership, provided expertise, and brought the renovation of what was basically a brownfield site and an abandoned, defunct tannery into the project that we see today, which will be capped by the new park next door, which I am sure will be valued and appreciated by the residents of Penacook Landing. So thank you, and thank you. And now, that really was short.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Gregory Carson from Department of Housing and Urban Development. Good morning.
Good morning, everybody, and I'm going to try and keep it shorter than the mayor. As the federal bureaucrat, my job is just to point out, hey, the money came from the federal government. The important thing is, and the wise thing that HUD did many years ago was to figure out it's better to partner with people in the community who know what's needed in the community and partner with partners who would be working on site or be working with the state government, the city governments, et cetera. So first, I just want to say congratulations for doing such an excellent job on behalf of all the taxpayers of the United States of America, because everybody contributes to this in one way or another. And I also want to say congratulations in such a beautiful building. I mean, it's terrific. I mean, the work that Matt has done over so many years and everybody else has just been spectacular. So I just want to say the city of Concord has been doing an amazing job with development. I mean, we need units all over the state. I think there are 11 buildings that are in production or along the way here in the city of Concord alone, which is just an outstanding number. I mean, compare that to everywhere else and you just go, wow, that's just a lot. and it's very needed. I mean, we all know that the housing shortage in New Hampshire is at a critical point. We're having a hard time housing people, and the more construction we can do, the better we can do it. And the better we can do it when we use partners who are on the ground who really want and are passionate about the work, like the Caleb Group, our partners at New Hampshire Housing Finance Authority who administer a lot of money, federal money coming in. So again, congratulations. It's another spectacular job, and we really appreciate all the work that's been done. Thanks.
Thank you, Gregory. Next is going to be Rob Dapis from New Hampshire Housing Finance Authority.
You're right, Debbie. He really does know how to pronounce all the names. Nicely done, Matt. I answered to Dapis, Depice, Dapis, whatever. Good morning. Wonderful to be here. Thanks so much for having us. I'm Rob. I'm the Executive Director of New Hampshire Housing. For those of you who don't know, New Hampshire Housing is an independent organization created by state law with a mission to finance and support housing solutions for the people of New Hampshire. Helping to make a property like this a reality is squarely in our mission, and that's because we use tools like the low-income housing tax credit and the home investment partnership funds that Greg mentioned to help make these buildings possible. And essentially, it's easy to get lost in like the complexity of all these programs and all the acronyms, but we make capital available at below market costs to partners like Caleb so they can rent these apartments to people who aren't rich for decades into the future. And that's what we've done here. I think you can see from walking around here that for anybody who still has a stigma associated with affordable housing or public housing from decades past, this is nothing like that. Properties like this are places where people can be proud to call them home. So I want to congratulate Caleb and everybody on the team who made this a reality, including all the contractors and vendors and subs who made this happen. Also, I want to acknowledge my colleagues at New Hampshire Housing, and I'm joined by Ignatius and Emily and Ali, who work very hard to make projects like this a reality. And it truly takes a village. There's a lot of people that you're going to hear from who have been essential to the project. But I just want to take a moment to specifically thank the leadership in the city of Concord. And so I think among all the communities that we work with, Concord really stands out as a place where the leadership over the last decade has shown consistent moral courage and consistency in expressing why housing is not only something that we should do, but something that it makes sense to do. And I think you heard it just then from Mayor Champlin. If you had been at the community engagement meeting that Councilor Brett Todd led 5 or 6 years ago here, you would have heard it then too. It was a masterclass in just relating to people as people and explaining why this kind of thing makes sense. These are divisive times, and I think we all see that we need more housing. We also see that new housing scares people. And with a situation like that, you kind of have choices. You can back down, or you can shout at people and lecture them about how you're right and they're wrong and get on social media, or you can relate to them as people and explain why this kind of project is so important. And that's what we see on a consistent basis from all the leadership here in Concord. There's a number of counselors and staff who have done a wonderful job over the years. So thank you and congratulations.
Thank you, Rob. Next is Katie Easterly Marte from the New Hampshire Community Development Finance Authority.
Great, thank you very much, Matt. As Matt had said, I'm from the Community Development Finance Authority, so we're the state administrator, the state partner of those federal funds that come from HUD. Our opportunity is to invest in communities, to make communities where people want to live, work, and play, just like here. I think what you heard from is the city's leadership in really thinking and visioning for what this community could be. And we have the great opportunity to partner with the city of Concord to invest up to $1.5 million annually of that federal block grants into communities for projects like this. And I think in addition to strengthening communities and really ensuring that they have places where people can have opportunities to meet with family, to be outside together, we are able to really invest in affordable housing that is so critical, and we heard about that. And on my way in, actually, I came in with a resident that was coming into her unit, and she came into the first floor, and she was taking a friend into her unit, and her friend said, "Your unit is beautiful," and she said, "I know, I'm so proud." It was just like such a nice moment. And so I want to thank you all for being part of this. So lucky to be in this opportunity to work with Matt and others to really champion these important resources into local communities. One of the things we really count on is volunteers. Our organization is an independent nonprofit administering these funds on behalf of the state, and we count on a board of directors to really help us know where to put those resources, ensure that the way that they're being invested is transparent and reflective of the needs of communities. We also count on a community committee that's made up of municipal officials. Matt sat on that committee for 10 years now, and his leadership both in the city of Concord and in the state as we direct these resources to community projects has been invaluable. So I want to thank you all for this incredible project, and I want to thank Matt for his leadership, and I'm really glad to be here to celebrate, and it's seen in the faces of the residents, so thank you so much.
Thank you, Katie, and just so everybody knows, I did recuse myself from that vote about the CDBG. Next is Andrew Dorsett from New Hampshire Department of Business and Economic Affairs, if he's here. He is not. I didn't see him sneak in either, but to give them their due, the Invest New Hampshire program was critical to phase 2 of Penacook Landing. Again, gap financing, much like the city provided, so we are thankful to the New Hampshire Department of Business and Economic Affairs for that contribution, so thank you.
It's the ARPA dollars, to be more specific.
I'm sorry?
It's the ARPA dollars.
It's the ARPA dollars?
Yeah.
Apologies, the ARPA
They
dollars.
saved our, you know what, at the end.
Bacon. Bacon.
Sorry.
Next on the list is Beth Booten, who's with Evernorth. Welcome.
Thank you, Debbie, for inviting Evernorth here for this opportunity. It's really wonderful to be here to celebrate with all of you. I'm Beth Boutan. On the program has said Nancy Owens. Nancy Owens is our president of Evernorth. She's unable to be here today due to the weather forecast, unfortunately, so she sends her regrets, but also her congratulations. Joining me here today are my coworkers from Evernorth, Sharon Vale, and Julia Morgan, Mike Sprague, and Brent Wilson in the audience here to be able to celebrate with you all as well. For over 30 years, Evernorth has been a funder of affordable housing and projects just like this. Here in this project, we invested with our multi-investor Housing New England Fund in providing $4.1 million of equity to create this fantastic housing. And also we were an investor in the phase 1 project as well, which I'm really feeling very lucky to be here today to celebrate this project. And I'm going to do a nod to that project too, because they didn't get their celebration 3 or 4 years ago. We didn't have one.
Stood outside with a ribbon.
So just to nod to that great project as well, that we're fortunate to be an investor in. And Phil Cohen, I don't know if Phil is in the audience. Oh, I see you way back there. Hi. And I see John as well. M&T here as well was an investor and is an investor in that fund and in both funds actually. And so thank you both for being here and supporting the project as well. M&T has invested over $200 million with Evernorth in since 1991 in affordable housing across northern New England. So we're really proud to have M&T as a partner for us as well in this project, and for you, Debbie, as well as financing as well. As a mission-driven organization, these are exactly the types of projects that we invest in. And in fact, this is our 9th investment in project with the Caleb Group since 2009. We're working together to enhance communities and address community needs through affordable housing. And, these events, I know they take a lot of effort to pull together, and they're wonderful to be at, and they're wonderful to have. And really from bringing in the perspective of the funders and the people who worked also on the project in a different way than the construction team and the architect and the engineers and the brownfield remediation. When all the closing calls have stopped and the pro formas have stopped moving and the documents are all final, and the sawdust and the switchgear has been figured out and not flying around annoying us and haunting us in the middle of the night, these opportunities give us all a chance, just like Katie said, to come and see the paint colors on the wall and touch the walls and have conversations with the residents that live here. And really gives us the opportunity to appreciate the work that we did to create this housing for the people that are going to live here. So it's really impactful to me and really special to me. So I just wanted to give a special nod to those who put a lot of energy into creating this event here for all of us to celebrate with. And like Katie mentioned too, at these events, we often hear from the residents about how living here or the opportunity to live here really helps them have the space to breathe because of the affordability, because of the stability, because of the safety, and the connection to the community that this, and then especially this project, really provides them and creates for them. So I look forward to those great conversations and those great stories here where the residents are able to live in homes without worry. And so thank you all for being a part of that. It's such important work, and I'm really proud that we're a partner. So congratulations.
Thank you, Beth. Next is Phil, if you can make it to the front of the room. Phil Cohen from M&T Bank. He's the Maine Regional President. Come on up.
Well, it's just great to see a room full of happy, smiling faces. It's always good to have a nice occasion to bring people together, particularly after the second phase. So as Matt mentioned, I'm Phil Cohen, and we were also really pleased at M&T Bank to have been involved in both phases of this amazing project.
Oh,
And I want to
wow.
congratulate the city on being such visionary planners and seeing the opportunity at this site. It really is transformative, and I think the intent with bringing some critical mass and really creating community here is something that you don't often get the opportunity to do, particularly given the extra funding needed to go in, and all more important to have so many of the funding partners here in the room as well. For anyone who's been through closing on a project like this, it really does take a village, and it's really nice to see some folks in person, in some cases for the first time. But at M&T Bank, as Beth, I really appreciated that history. I'm not sure I heard that stat before. It is pretty staggering when you look back over such history, and you guys have been such tremendous partners throughout New England and all of the areas that you've helped create housing in. It really is important to continue, for us to continue to help building community, and for us that means dollars, it means expertise. John Schroeder in the back there helped continue to get construction dollars out as we were working through the project, but there's nothing more fulfilling than being able to be here to actually experience the housing, and wish I could have caught some of the comments hearing residents moving in. But really, congratulations to the Caleb team. You guys have been fantastic to work with. Suzanne, really has been a pleasure, and wish you guys the best, and hopefully we'll have more phases. I think you're probably fully built out here, so really great work and tremendous, and congratulations to the city on building the park. But M&T is really pleased to have the opportunity to be part of bringing this into reality. So thank you very much for the opportunity to come speak today and celebrate with you all. Thank you.
Thank you, Phil. Next is John Egan with Genesis Community Loan Fund. He's a Senior Program Officer for Strategic Initiatives. Welcome.
I could walk slower while you
No.
usually it runs out the door. Good morning, everyone. I'm John Egan from the Genesis Community Loan Fund. We're based in Brunswick, Maine. We are a small CDFI, and if you don't know what a CDFI does, I'll be out in the hallway after. I can give you the whole story. So that's Community Development Financial Institution. So we are, like Evernorth, a mission-focused and mission-aligned organization. We provide lending and technical assistance, and our role in this project was small but critical, because we took the step forward with Caleb when everything was just on the chalkboard. We provided the financing to get the thing established and the acquisition. So we were the first money in. So a CDFI can play a small role, but it's often a sticky role. It's a risky role. Banks are unlikely to step forward when there's just a bunch of ideas, but we still need to go buy the piece of property tomorrow. And that's what a CDFI can do. So our secret sauce is to work with partners like everybody has been sharing here. I didn't write down my comments, but Beth somehow seemed to have taken everything that I wanted to say and already said it. But I just want to highlight, I get to do a lot of different coaching and advising in our TA role around the state of Maine, and sometimes over here in New Hampshire and occasionally in Vermont. And it's not just the units and the BTUs and the envelope, and how many dollars per square foot housing nerds like me can get off on, but it's really important to know in 10 years or so, someone's going to say 33 Canal, that's where I live, that's my home. So anyway, it's fabulous, fantastic work.
Thank you, John. Our final speaker, certainly last but not least by any means, is City Councilor Brent Todd. He's the Ward 1 City Councilor. And Brent has been with this project almost from the beginning. And like all members of the City Council, has really shown leadership to make sure that we got this project done. We carried through And I want to congratulate you and thank you for being part of that all the way through. So thank you.
Thank you very much. I appreciate those kind words, but, my job as the last speaker now, obviously, is to try not to repeat anything that anybody else has said, so bear with me. I'm gonna have to make one exception to that, which is that right back at you, Matt Walsh, because, it's not just that this was his job to do this project and work on this. We all understand he's employed by the city of Concord. But his ability and his passion for his work and his just native talents in the things that he does really came forth and shone brightly in this particular project, especially, I think. When I think of, now it's basically, I can't help myself when I think of ground contamination due to decaying leather, I can only think of Matt Walsh. But I mean that in a nice way, Matt. This has been a very challenging project, is what I mean to say by that. Lots of twists and turns, but Matt has really done a great job, so thank you. I really just want to say, I want to focus on the residents, which I know some folks have touched on that today. I had the pleasure of meeting one right now, this morning, who's standing right over there. And she told me that she has been a lifelong Penacook resident. She remembers this property when the tannery was still being built. And now she gets to still live here in Penacook, in her native town. That, I think, has been lost on a lot of folks. I think that it was trying to convince a certain group of people who were really concerned at one time that, this was going to be the end of the world, basically, if we were going to build affordable housing in Penacook. And I kept trying to tell folks, no, these are your neighbors. These are people you may already know. They live in the community. They will not be able to stay in this community if we do not provide this kind of opportunity for them. And that was not lost on me. So thank you very much. And it was wonderful to hear your story today. And there are many more stories like that. He's been living here for 3 years and really likes it. That is the last part that I'm going to touch on, which is my great thanks to not only everyone in this room who's had participation, but especially to the Caleb Group, who've done a fantastic job seeing through every element of this project from start to finish, and including right now with the management of the property. I've not heard one single complaint from any constituents. This has been a wonderful showing of the abilities of the Caleb Group to task a project from beginning to end. And so I also look forward to maybe getting the opportunity to work with you again. And that's all for me. Thank you very much. And thanks again to everyone who was involved in this project. Appreciate it.
Thank you all for coming. Congratulations, everybody. Let's do another one.